Something big just happened in crypto, and this is going to help gold and silver explode down the line. And let me get right to that. And that is Bitcoin, the granddaddy of crypto, is in a bear market. And what happened the last couple of times Bitcoin was in a bear market? Well, you had a 76% decline here and an 84% decline here. So what we can see here is that technically Bitcoin has made a clear double top here, and it's broken down. This is a daily line chart, by the way. And so it's broken down below both the moving averages, the 200-day here in blue, the 400-day in red. And the last time it fell below the 400-day, you have to go back to right here, really, a similar point. Like, when was the last time after rising for a while, it fell below the 400-day? Here we can see at the beginning of this bear market, it had this initial steep decline, but it rebounded at the 400-day moving average. Then it eventually lost it here. This is a bear flag here, rallied up and failed at the 400-day. Then you had a further crash. So what's going on here? We can see it's just broken below the 400-day moving average right here. And again, that is the first time in quite a while. Look, you have to go back several years. All this time, it was above the 400-day. So it's broken below the 400-day. What could happen? Well, if you look at the history of these breakdowns of Bitcoin and other cryptos as well, this is typically the kind of pattern you get. And it's really true in any nasty bear market. Like, you get a hard leg down, then you get some kind of bearish consolidation like this. This is another example here. This is a triangle breakdown pattern here. And so getting back to present, we could see, because Bitcoin is oversold, we could see a rally back up like this for a little while, and it forms some kind of bearish consolidation eventually before falling much further like that. And so the 400-day moving average is about 100,000 right now. We're at 92,000. So perhaps at some point, doesn't mean it's going to happen right now, but at some point, maybe it happens from 88, 85. You get some kind of a rally back and a bearish consolidation before the next leg lower. And just stepping further out, this is the long-term really strong support, I would say, right around in between 60 to 65,000. So if you call it 62,000, the peak was at 125,000. That's a 50% decline. That's Bitcoin being cut in half. But at the same time, we should also consider, look at this bear market here. That was 76%. This is another one that was 84%. So if Bitcoin falls below this support, eventually it could fall down to this area. Now, with respect to where Bitcoin bottoms, how far it's going down and that type of thing, what's more important is this. Bitcoin is also breaking down in real terms against gold and silver. So what that means is that all the money in crypto, which I think a couple months ago was about 4 trillion, that is going to come out, and that's going to have to move somewhere. It doesn't mean all of the 4 trillion. You could see 2 or 3 trillion come out. That's going to move into other asset classes. That's going to benefit gold. How do we know that? Well, take a look at these next couple of charts. So this is gold against Bitcoin here, gold divided by Bitcoin. So when this ratio is moving down like that, that means Bitcoin is outperforming gold. When it's moving up like this, that signals that gold is outperforming Bitcoin. And what do we see here? This is a real significant bottoming pattern. So this is a inverse head and shoulders bottom where you have the head in the middle and then you have the two shoulders. And so this is broken out. And so this tells us that gold is setting up to strongly outperform Bitcoin. So you could see this ratio move up like that. And I think this bottom here, which has been traced out over almost 2 years, I think it's more significant than this bottom here and also this bottom as well. So this, and we only have data going back to 2014 here, but if you went back to 2010, 2011, the start of Bitcoin, the chart would be way up here. I mean, it would be, the downtrend would still be intact. So why that's significant is this bottom here, I think, could be of a secular nature. This reversal in favor of gold, this is something that could last the next 5, 7, 10 years where gold outperforms Bitcoin. So this isn't just something that's going to last a year or two. There's real risk here that money is going to completely exit Bitcoin and all of cryptos and then move into gold. And also it could move into silver because This is silver divided by Bitcoin. And we see the same thing here. It's a little bit of a different chart, but you have the three bottoms here. It's not quite a head and shoulders, but you could have a shoulder here, head here, bit of a rough shoulder here, or you could have more of a right shoulder here if this pulls back here. And so we can see here, this is important resistance right here. So this could rise a little bit more, then consolidate before a bigger move higher. But the larger point remains, this is setting up for silver to significantly outperform Bitcoin. What we can say is that both gold and silver, they've bottomed relative to Bitcoin and they're in new uptrends. And what that means in layman's terms is capital is going to be moving out of Bitcoin and other cryptos and into gold and silver and precious metals. And with that being said, let's take a look at another market in the crypto world. That's MicroStrategy. And here's a chart of MicroStrategy. Oh, it's just a joke. I'm just kidding. This is hot garbage. But MicroStrategy's chart really does look like this. And so here's the actual chart of MicroStrategy. And we can see here, this is basic. This appears to be a double top. You have right here, this is a double top. Initial support here. And MicroStrategy has sliced through that. And it's fallen below the 400-day moving average. Look, again, the last time that it fell below the 400-day moving average after being in an uptrend was right here. You had this sharp move down here. What happened? Bearish flag here. This pattern here was also a bear flag. So again, when you're in a downtrend in a sharp bear market, you get legs down and then you get bearish consolidations. And so that's why here, this is really oversold. This will probably make some kind of a bearish consolidation for a couple of months before falling again. So that's MicroStrategy. And that's essentially it for the video. But I just want to go back to gold against Bitcoin so you don't forget. This is really important, people. In my videos in past months and years, I've talked about gold against the stock market, gold against the 60-40 portfolio, and gold breaking out and how important that is. Bitcoin, it's not as big of an asset as the stock market or the bond market, but still, this is, as of a couple of months ago, this is a $4 trillion asset class. And this chart is just super bullish for gold relative to Bitcoin. You have a clear, significant bottom here. And what this chart tells us is that gold is strongly going to outperform Bitcoin over the coming months and years. And that means capital is going to be moving out of Bitcoin and it has to go somewhere. And naturally, I think a chunk of that, 2 or 3 trillion, which will come out, that's going to move into gold and precious metals. So that's it for the video today. Hope you all had a great weekend. Let me know what you think of the video. Please leave a comment. Would love to hear from you. I appreciate you and your support. And again, thank you for tuning in. Hope you have a great week ahead, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video.